Hey y'all! It's Skully and welcome to Skully's Creations. I am so happy that you're here and hopefully this video I can share some good information with you and help you become a better plant parent. So with that being said, if you do like creative and planty videos, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and notification bell so you'll be notified next time I put out a planty or creative video. I would appreciate it, and like I said, hopefully this helps you too. So with that being said, today we're talking about what I believe are level 2 plant parents. So what that means is they're not plants that really want to be neglected per se, but they are plants that you want to pay a little bit more attention to because some of these plants need a little bit more water or just like I said, just a little bit more attention. So we're gonna first start out with the air plant. Now, the air plant, they're actually very easy plants to take care of. However, the reason that they're on this list is because what people end up doing with air plants is just like leaving them, because air plants don't actually have a root system per se. So you can just literally put them anywhere. And because of that, we forget about them. And we also forget that they need light. Because air plants are so easily put anywhere, we don't think that they need a lot of light. But I actually have both of my air plants by my south facing window, and they actually hang like out right here on these little things that I made. Oh, I have a video on that of how I made those, by the way, if you want to check that out. But anywho, yeah. So they need light. They need light, and they do also need water. How you want to water these? There's two ways of watering air plants. You can spray them with a water bottle or a mister. So that's one way. And then you just want to coat everything and set them to dry like this. You want to set them to dry like this because I guess if water stays inside of the air plant, it will rot. So you definitely want to either shake them out when you're done and then let them dry like this. So that's one way. Always let them dry like that, by the way. But the second way of watering these air plants is simply by dunking them in water and leaving them there for, I would say, maybe like 30 minutes. Some people leave them in there for an hour or a couple hours. But basically, you just want to let all the air plant turn green. As you can see, there is, excuse my nails. As you can see, this air plant is a little white, but once water gets on it, it turns this green color. So as you can see right here, there's no water, and then right here there is. You want to let the whole air plant turn green like that, and then shake it, set it to dry, and then be good. But yeah, that's why these are in level 2, just because people tend to forget about them and not really know how to take care of an air plant. So that is how you take care of an air plant. Just make sure it has some type of light. It can be in a north facing window as well, that's fine. Just make sure it has some type of light, and then water it about 7 to 14 days depending on where you have it placed and how much light it's getting. So if it's getting more light, you're probably going to be around that 7-day mark. But if it's getting low light, then you're probably going to be around that like 10 to 14 day mark. So that's air plants. Okay, so the second plant that I want to talk about is peace lilies. And girl, let me tell you. So peace lilies overall are very easy and rewarding plants because ever since this one, me and this peace lily go way back. She was my second plant ever. I gave her root rod and it was a whole thing, but I was able to save this piece. And now, over a year later, she is thriving. She just puts out growth like crazy, and it's just really rewarding to see. Not only to see the growth, but also these are the older leaves. And as you can see, they're pretty small. And then all of these are her newer leaves, and they are significantly bigger. So she's doing great. However, peace lilies do require a little bit more water, and they can be a bit dramatic plants. So if you're not used to a dramatic plant or what that looks like, a peace lily can kind of freak you out, especially the first time you see it completely wilt. Just telling you it needs water. Nothing to be alarmed about, but when it wilts completely, then what you want to do is, yes, you definitely want to give it water and it will just perk back up just like this. So wilting is a great way for you to tell whether the plant needs water, and it's a good indicator in the beginning. That way you know, okay, my peace lily wilts around 7 days, or my peace lily wilts around 10 days, depending on what pot you have it in and how much light it's getting. And how much light it's getting is going to determine how often you're going to water your plant. But yeah, so what that wilting is doing is using energy, and ideally that's not great for the plant, because the more energy it uses, the harder it is for that plant to perk back up, and eventually your plant's not going to perk back up. So you want to let it wilt maybe a couple of times so you can get an idea of when to water your plant, and then, you know, just keep an eye on it after that. If it starts getting a little sad, go ahead and give it a good watering. Now, as far as fertilizer goes, I use liquid dirt and fishy water or aquarium water. And oh, I also use aquarium water to dunk the air plants as well. Anywho, so yeah, so that's what I use, and they seem to be liking it. I think I am gonna go ahead and try maybe an espoma, a organic fertilizer, to see if there's any difference, and I'll keep y'all posted on that. But as far as fertilizer goes, yeah, fertilize during the growing season. If you have something very, 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 very light or very organic, such as liquid dirt. Liquid dirt is a food for the plant, not necessarily a fertilizer, but it does give it the right nutrition it needs to live, thrive, and all that good stuff. So yeah, absolutely, she wants to be fertilized. Now, as far as propagation for this peace lily, so as you can see right here, there's actually another baby growing, and that's pretty much how you propagate. So she'll pop up these pups, and you can propagate those pups, or you can propagate from root division, and that basically just means dividing the plant and its roots and putting them into two separate pots. So those are the two, that's how you propagate a peace lily. And yeah, then that's your peace lily. Like I said, it just needs a little bit more water, and that's why she's on level 2, because if you're not used to, you know, or not used to carrying a little bit more for your peace lily, then she's gonna freak out a little bit. But overall, she's really, really easy, especially if you have her in a ceramic pot like I do. I do not water my peace lily nearly as much as I would if she was in terracotta. Yeah, if she was in terracotta, girl, I'd be watering her all the time, but we don't have time for that. So yeah, anyways, peace lily. So the next plant that I want to talk about is a spider plant. So I know this is not everyone's favorite plant, because spider plants are known to be kind of I don't know, like your grandma has spider plants all over, and it's an older, I don't know, I don't understand it, because I think they're really cool, and they grow super fast. There's two varieties of spider plants. This is the one with the white outside, and I actually do have another one, but the other one simply just has the white in the inside, and that's the variegated one. There's also a spider plant Bonnie, a Hawaiian spider plant, and I don't know if I can't think of any other ones, but those are the few that I know. Is this one, the variegated, the Bonnie, which is very curly, and the Hawaiian. If you know of any other spider plants, let me know in the comments. I would love to learn about more spider plants, but those are the few that I know. So with that being said, same deal with this spider plant as the peace lily. It is very dramatic, so she will go all the way down when she's thirsty and needs water. I actually have this spider plant in lava rocks, and lava rocks, just a fun fact, little tip right here, but lava rocks are another alternative to leca. They do the same thing. I still prefer leca because you can get like a cleaner look and stuff, but when I tried the lava rocks, I didn't know that, but it worked just fine for me. So anyways, as far as fertilizer goes with these plants, yeah, they also like to be fertilized during the growing season, and they're really, really easy to propagate. Once the spider plant gets big enough, she'll start developing these flowers, which turn into spider plant babies, and they just look like mini babies, and they'll grow their own roots. And you can just prop that in some water or whatever you want, and she will grow. You can also propagate the spider plant by root division as well, which is just like, for example, these are gonna have like 2 different crowns. And what I could do is root divide them, so basically just separate them by the roots. And at that point, you can have 2 plants, but I wanted a bigger plant, so I just left them together so they can grow and be all jungly. So yeah, that's another way to propagate a spider plant. Oh, another thing about these spider plants and why they're also at number 2, they always tend to give you these like crispy tips in the end. Okay, and that, so you know, is due to usually like the tap water. So spider plants are a little sensitive to the minerals that are in our water, so they end up giving you these crispy tips. You can use distilled water on your spider plants, and that should solve the crispy tip issue, but not to worry, they're doing fine. I mean, she's growing and she's doing fine. It's just she gets crispy tips every once in a while, and that's okay. I have been recently using this in my tap water to basically make the water safe for plants as well, because actually I saw someone on TikTok do this and it made complete sense to me, and so far so good. So I don't know, I will definitely keep y'all updated on that too to see if it's actually working, but I have had less crispy tips as I've started to use that. So there's that. Anyways, spider plant. The next plant I want to talk about is Syngonium. So Syngonium are awesome and really easy plants to take care of. And plus there's so many varieties of Syngonium. There's the elbow, there's the green splash, the white butterfly, the pink one, the confetti, like there's so many. And it's really, really exciting because Syngonium is not only just an easy plant to take care of, but they're also rewarding because they're fast growers, and there's so many varieties of Syngonium. This one in particular is a Syngonium albo, and she was my wish list plant, and I finally got her, and I'm super excited. But Syngonium in general are pretty easy to take care of. However, they do need a little bit more water than your normal like epipremnum or ZZ plant. So these are vining plants, and they will also droop to indicate to you that they need water. But if you can't really tell about the drooping, then you want to let your Syngonium dry almost all the way. So if it's about right here is still moist, that's a good indicator of, okay, you have to water your plant now. So they don't like being completely dry. They just like being almost completely dry. So as long as you can keep that in mind and look at the signs that, you know, again, that your plant is looking a little sad or is wilting a little bit, after you give them some water, they should perk back up. Now, as far as propagation goes, Syngoniums have, as you can see, these crazy area roots, and each of these so this is a node there, this is a node where these area roots are coming out, so it's a little bit of a bump, right? And that's a node, and you can cut that up right where the node is and put the node either in water, sphagnum, or straight back in soil, and they'll start growing roots. So these are really easy to propagate. As far as fertilizer goes, Syngonium, yes, they like to eat. They like fertilizer during the growing season, and honestly, all of these plants that I'm listing today do like fertilizer during the growing months. And again, if you have something like liquid dirt, which is just food, then at that point, yes, absolutely, you can fertilize during the whole year. So that's going to be the rule for all of these plants, just so you know. So I don't have to keep repeating myself there, because I'm sure that would get annoying to you too. But yeah, so that's how you propagate, that's how you water. Make sure it's just about right here, dry, and then go ahead and give her a watering. Also, with lighting on the Syngonium, these are pretty low light tolerant plants, but they really like more medium to high light. More specifically for this albo is gonna like more of a highlight situation versus a Syngonium that's a bit darker, that can tolerate a little bit more light. So that's just something to keep in mind. The greener the leaf is, typically the less light it needs, and then the more white the leaf is, typically the more light it needs. So that's just a rule to keep in mind. So yeah, so Syngonium. The next plant I would like to talk to you about is Marantas. And I believe, just fun fact, Marantas, they were known as Calatheas. However, I'm pretty sure they changed it, so they're now their own genus, or part of another genus. I'm not too sure on that, but I do know that because these are no longer classified as Calatheas, I think that's why these are a bit easier to care for. Because Calatheas, that's a whole nother thing, and we can talk about that later. But as far as Marantas go, Marantas are super, super, super easy plants to take care of as well. They do like to stay a little bit more on the moist side. And what I mean by moist is maybe letting your Maranta dry out as much as you would let a Syngonium dry out. So like either here, and after, once it gets almost dry, that's when you want to give it a good watering, because Marantas do not like to be completely dry. They will give you crispy tips, and also you could be a little bit more on the extra side and give them distilled water. They will thank you for that, or even filter water, because they are a little bit more, again, sensitive. And they'll give you crispy tips because they're also a plant that's not really comfortable with the minerals in our tap water. However, I know there's a lot of people that give Marantas tap water and they're doing just fine. So do with that information as you will. I again just put this in my water now, so that way, I don't know, it just helps them. Like I said, I'll keep you updated on how that's been working. I've only been doing that for a couple of months, so I don't really have like a good idea on that. But it seems to be working because she hasn't really given me a lot of crispy tips. This plant does like a little bit more humidity, but also I don't have her in a very high, I did have her in the beginning in a very high humid like environment right next to my humidifier, but now I don't, and I actually think she's doing better away from it. So yeah, they're supposed to be known for high humidity plants, but at the same time, I don't know, she seems to be okay without the super high humidity. Now, as far as propagation goes, these plants also do have nodes, and let me see if I can give you, okay. So these bumps right here are, this is a better, this bump right here, that bump right here is a node for the Maranta. This right here is also a node for the Maranta. So they're just like where the bump is. And from there, that's where you can want to cut where the node is, and you can either put it in whatever medium that you're wanting to propagate. Water, I think, will work just fine as well. But yeah, that's Maranta. So again, you want to not let it dry all the way out, maybe about right here, and then give it a good watering. Propagation is through the node. I actually think you can propagate this through root division as well. So again, root division is just going in there, dividing it by the roots, and then now you have two plants. So there's that. As far as fertilizer goes, same thing. I won't repeat myself on that, but yeah, that is the Maranta. Super easy plant, very rewarding plant. I mean, these leaves are like crazy looking, and also there's a lot of different varieties of Maranta, so you can, you know, collect them. There's the variegated version. This right here is the lemon lime version. There's also a red vein and a few others, I think. But yeah, Marantas are really cool and they're really rewarding. You can have them like this or in a hanging basket, and yeah, but you can usually find these at your local Lowe's or Home Depot, so they're pretty more on the common side. But yeah, Marantas are great. So yeah, that's Marantas. The last plant that I want to talk to you about are string of things, and then I'll give you a couple of honorable mentions, but I won't go into too much detail on. So string of things, these right here are string of turtles, but there's also string of bananas, there's also string of pearls, there's what else? String of watermelons, and there's a few more. So there's like string of hearts. So yeah, anyways, there's a lot of string of things, and the reason I have these string of things in level 2 plant parent is because sometimes we just don't know how to water them. Now, as far as watering these particular string of things, so these again are string of turtles, or Peperomia pastratum, I think is how you pronounce it. Hopefully I pronounced that right. If I didn't, my bad. Let me know in the comments. I won't mind being corrected. Anyways, but how you want to water these is you definitely want to make sure that these are all the way dry, like bone dry. And that the reason for that is because most string of things are succulent like. So what that means is in these little, like, I don't know if you can tell, it's a little puffed out, and the reason it's puffed out is because it has water in its leaves, and most string of things can carry water in their leaves. Well, yeah, most of them can. So yeah, so you want to let these completely dry out, and I think that's where a lot of us have issues with string of things, because we can't we don't really know when to water them. I know for string of hearts, if you see them getting a little wrinkly, just like I showed you how to tell to water a succulent, if they start getting a little so soft or wrinkly, that's when it's time to water. And then of course you can also use a moisture meter just to ensure that it's completely dry, or a chopstick. But yeah, that is why these are in level 2, because sometimes we just don't know how to take care of them, and that's okay. We're all learning here. But yeah, definitely want to make sure that these are all the way dry. Now, because all of the other ones are succulent like, well, including these, they're basically how you want to take care of a succulent is how you want to take care of your string of things. They usually like a lot of highlight and want to be let completely dry out. They don't need a lot of humidity. You're really good on that. And what else? And they're easy to propagate. You can just cut a stem and then just put it in moss or dirt, and then they'll root up. Now, that's for all the other string of things. This one in particular, string of turtles, actually like humidity. So I have this one laying on a shelf, literally looking like this, because here's another thing. Usually they're in hanging baskets, so all of this is getting light, and then none of the top is getting light. So you'll notice that some of your string of things will start getting bulbs right here, but still look really lush. it's just because the only reason that that's happening is because it's not getting any light up here. So I have mine tilted like this, so that way it gets light up here and it also gets a light down here. So it's actually grown quite a bit. Another thing, again, with the string of things, because I mentioned that it does like humidity, it is literally right next to a humidifier and it absolutely loves it. So that's why I want to make sure that you know that string of turtles specifically, the reason people have trouble with them, they don't realize how much humidity the string of turtles actually need. Also, she doesn't really like super high light. She's actually about 2 feet away from a south facing window, so she's doing great. So it's more of medium light. So yeah, she wants medium light. The other string of things I think can handle a little bit higher light, and again, don't need a lot of humidity, and can also be propagated by the same way. As far as fertilizer goes, same deal. Fertilize during the, I said I wasn't going to repeat myself. As far as fertilizer goes, you already know. Alrighty, so yeah, that is string of turtles specifically, but like I said, the other string of things are a little bit more succulent like, so they can handle a little bit more light. They still like to be dried out. If you want to tell if they need water, make sure that they are a little bit soft or a little bit wrinkly, and then you can water them. Basically fully dry. But this one, again, like I said, still likes to be fully dry. The only difference between this string of things and the other string of things is this string of things absolutely loves and thrives and needs humidity. Okay? So, string of turtles or string of things. Okay, so the last two are honorable mentions. And the last two honorable mentions, the first one is going to be Tradescantia. More specifically, Tradescantia Nanook, because you know what? I said this was an easy plant, and overall it is. But they do have very delicate root systems, so if you overwater, they will absolutely rot. They do grow really fast, in particularly the Zebrina, and I love the Zebrina, and oh my god, super shiny leaves. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. I got pests on these, and I had to basically remove a lot of the roots, so I had to start all over with my Sabrina and Nanook, which is really sad because the Nanook they were both really lush plants, or getting a little lush. So anyways, but these are very leggy plants as well, so that's something that maybe a lot of people won't like, but they do like highlight. They do like to be completely dry, or like not necessarily completely dry, but just to be on the safe side, let them dry out completely before you give them a watering, just so you don't overwater your plant, because again, they have very delicate root systems, and because their roots are so fine, they're very susceptible to root rot. So, oh, and just how you propagate, oh, these are really easy to propagate. So I can literally just cut wherever and then just place like anywhere on this stem, place it in water, and the roots will come out. So super easy there. The second honorable mention, I'm just gonna put a video for you because it actually hangs on my ceiling, and I don't feel like bringing it down. So anyways, second honorable mention is going to be strawberry begonias. Fun fact, strawberry begonias are actually not begonias. So just so y'all know, but strawberry begonias grow like mediumly fast, whatever that means. They don't grow like super fast. So they also have really delicate root systems, therefore them being a little bit more susceptible to root rot, so just be careful there. But they're pretty easy plants. I mean, I have mine in a ceramic planter, and I don't have to water her very often because she definitely likes to be completely dried out before she is watered. Fertilizer, same thing. Propagation, so the way you want to propagate a strawberry begonia is how you want to propagate a spider plant. What a strawberry begonia will do will give you these little babies, and once they get big enough, I would say maybe like an inch or two like width, then go ahead and you can go ahead and propagate them. And then you can also propagate a strawberry begonia by root division as well. So yeah, so those are the two honorable mentions, which is the Triscantia and the strawberry begonia, which isn't actually a begonia. So yeah, so all right guys, so if you have stuck with me to the end, I appreciate it. I really, really do. I mean, I have found so much joy not only making these videos for you, but just being a part of the plant community has been really, really cool. And there's so many nice and wonderful people in the plant community, and I just want to thank y'all just real quick. I really, really, really do appreciate you sticking around. Again, hopefully these videos are helpful to you. I really do hope. I'm trying to just, I'm doing my best to give you the information as I'm learning it too. So yeah, so that is that. Like I said, if you with me to the end, I appreciate you. You're awesome. You are the one. And I will see you in my next one. Don't forget to keep it artsy and planty, and just have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Yep, because you'll be seeing this tomorrow. So have a wonderful weekend or week if you're seeing this during the week. Anywho, bye. Y'all have a good one. Okay, bye.